Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Football, presented by Vaughn Lane. I'm your host, Blake Monroe, where I'm joined daily by Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton. Tell us where you're checking in from this morning, what you're drinking, get your questions in. We got a loaded show. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to first open with Sark's comments yesterday. I'm going to put his quote up here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but if you're watching, you can read the whole thing on the screen. But he said, I've had no discussions, not with my agent, not with the university, not with any other school, not with any NFL team about ever going anywhere else. I came here to win championships. And then he goes on to talk about having the kids enrolled. But Bobby, your thoughts?
My thoughts are that what else do you want a coach to say who is getting continually battered by these remarks, and it's affecting recruiting? I'm just here to tell you it's going to affect, and it's not, look, they can suffer the slings and arrows from a Desmond Howard or a Diane Rossini because that's not it. What's happening right now at Texas, in my opinion, is their own fan base is kind of eating itself and pushing this into a brouhaha when your head coach and your athletic director and even people that I'm talking to above those people are saying there's nothing to this. Texas doesn't want to mutually part ways with Steve Sarkisian. Period. End of story. Anybody saying that is full of you-know-what in their opinion. And so all this chatter and all this rumor mongering and everything behind it, all it does is affect the University of Texas in a negative fashion and Sark's ability to go do his job and recruit players, etc. And so I think some folks enjoy the chaos and the rumor mongering more than they enjoy Texas football. And the reality of it is that some of it is just not playing good, and he's trying to do as much as he knows how and as much as he can do to try to put all these rumors of him wanting to leave or him mutually deciding to leave with the university to rest, because I'm here to tell you, it wouldn't be mutual because Texas wants him to stay. So everybody else talking about all this other stuff, you guys kind of need to understand the lay of the land, and that is that Steve Sarkeesian is the University of Texas coach, and supporting him and his efforts is much more healthy than sitting there and adding gasoline to the fire with rumor mongering. That's my point. Support the coach and what he's trying to do, as opposed to try to tear him down. That's all.
All right, well, let's look at the availability report. Oh, if I can get that to go away. There we go. The availability report that came out yesterday for Texas guys. Anthony Hill listed as questionable, and then Ryan Wingo listed as probable. Obviously, those are two pretty, key players there. But other than that, Texas healthy compared to Arkansas, especially.
They were healthy last week too, relatively speaking.
Yeah. Clean report last week. Clean report.
Hey, but I will say this, Arkansas versus Georgia, there's a little disparity there as well. Look, Anthony Hill is questionable. Ryan Wingo is probable. Wingo practiced this week and has been practicing. He had a decision to make whether or not to go get some surgery done or work done in the offseason. He probably will do that or play through it. I think he's trying to play through it unless something happens that's not good, right, in the next couple of days. I think that he's going to try to work his way through it the rest of the season. Anthony Hill is a little bit different in that he does have an issue that he's trying to work through and delaying some situations before he plays again. We'll see whether or not he practices today, Jerry. If he practices today, I know people are saying, oh, well, he's out for sure. There's been some conversations there, but I'm not sure that's as 100% definitive as some people are saying it is right now, just for the record. There's a reason he's listed as questionable as opposed to out or anything like that. So he could be listed as out as soon as today. He could stay as questionable. I'm just telling you, that's not according to some that I talked to, that's not as cut and dry as some people have tried to make it.
Yeah, on the Arkansas side, Braylon Russell, questionable. He's been beaten out by Washington. And the reason I bring that up is when he was in the portal last year, everybody thinks the portal's always the answer. Well, that guy got beat out at Arkansas. So portal isn't always the answer. Fix all for everything. Arkansas has no major injuries on defense. What does that mean for the worst defense of the SEC? Probably nothing, but they don't have any major injuries anyways. But they're going to be as full speed as they possibly can be, Arkansas, for this game. And obviously, Anthony Hill is the one name for Texas because I think something would have to go wrong for Ryan Wingo not to play in this game. But so it's both teams as healthy as they can be right now, based on where they've been the last 2 or 3 games. For this Arkansas team. I mean, Omega Blake is their leading receiver. Raylan Sharp, number 2. Ronald Jones is their top tight end. All of those guys are playing this week. They're not on injury report. So pretty healthy teams considering we're in 11th game of the season this week. Pretty healthy teams. There's some teams that are banged up. These aren't 2 of them. So this should be a game where there's a lot of guys playing full speed without a lot of as many nicks as some other teams are experiencing right now. So it should make for a very fast, very spirited football game.
You think it's going to be high scoring, Jerry?
Yes. Yeah, because neither team covers the pass.
That's the problem.
Neither team.
That's why I can't.
Yeah.
But I was asked last night. I did the live stream with Amanda and those and CJ and Marcus, and last night, and somebody wrote, "We can't trust this team right now," and they're right. And it's not what it once was. It wasn't the offense. I couldn't trust the first 6 to 7 games of the year.
Right.
Now at least I know the offense can move the ball. Arch is coming along. All this other stuff. Not perfect, right? But now I can't trust the back half of the defense. What do you got here, Blake?
These are just some of the stat leaders for Arkansas, both offense and defense. I thought I'd just throw it up on the screen there while y'all were talking about the game.
Yeah, look, I mean, the 2 guys that concern you if you play Arkansas are the 2 defensively, the 2 guys that are listed back to back. Quincy Rhodes, who is in it, one of the rare in-state guys that they've gotten in recent years. I mean, in the Sam Pittman era, really. Has 8 sacks this year, but Xavier Sorey was a 5-star kid coming out of high school, transferred in to Arkansas. Those are their 2 pass rushers. Those are the guys. And Sorey plays that. They play a 3-man front. Sorey plays that outside rush backer. Those are the 2 guys that you have to identify and block in this football game. Not to say Steven Dick, some of the other guys aren't good players, but those are the 2 guys that can really, truly disrupt what you're trying to do. Then they have a 385-pound nose tackle. If you plan on running it up the middle against them, of course, the more snaps they have him on the field, the less effective he becomes if he's out there on any third down. So, but it's really Quincy Rhodes and it's really Xavier Sorey. Sorey's got really high-end pursuit closing speed from the backside. That is where he will really pop on tape. One thing that's not shown on all these stats, and I agree with Rod, Taylor Green is the best player on a bad team going. Now, he will throw the ball up for grabs a little bit. He had 2 INTs last week against LSU if you get pressure on him. But I do think the left tackle is going to have a major issue against Colin Simmons. I think their right tackle could have an issue in pass pro, and I think one of their guards too. Their offensive line sets up like Vanderbilt did in that way. It'll be interesting to see what Bobby Petrino does. I think he's going to move the pocket quite a bit in this game.
Yeah, look at the running backs. So we've heard of Taylor Green, right, Jerry? We played him last year. Texas fans are somewhat familiar with what he can do. Long strider. If he gets open space, I'm not so sure he's not a 4.5 guy, for even lower 4.4s if he really gets going speed wise. But look at Mike Washington, the running back. He's averaging 6.5 yards a carry, Jerry. Yeah. I mean, that is phenomenal. And those numbers aren't really slowing down in conference play.
No.
Yet Arkansas, who has a running back averaging 6.5 yards a carry, is 0-6 in conference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll just be, I'm here to tell you this, to your point, when I asked you, do you think it's going to be a low scoring high, what do you think it's going to be, a track meet basically scoring wise? And you said, yes, this is why. I mean, look, A&M beat them 45-42, and neither team looked like they were going to stop the other ever in that game. I watched it. And so I think that as we look at it this week, Jerry, in this game, we're going to have to see what goes on. But hopefully Texas scores some points, gets out in front, and is able to make Arkansas somewhat one-dimensional, although obviously they can score with the best of them.
Well, I mean, look, people, when they talk about Arkansas, a lot of times they're pointing out, and for good reason, Arkansas scored 35 against Ole Miss, right? They scored 31 at Tennessee, 42, like you said, against A&M, 35 against Mississippi State. Their score that impresses me the most offensively is 24 against Auburn. Because Auburn defensively is really good in their front. Now, they're the one team on this schedule that held Washington under 50 yards. Again, Auburn's defensive front is really, really good. So kind of how I've started measuring Texas defensive front in run defense is how do they compare to Auburn? And it's not that simple, but that's kind of where you start. You want to look up in this game to me and look up in the fourth quarter, and Washington has around 45, 50 yards in this game. If you look up and he's in that, look at what he had 65 against Ole Miss, even at 63 in the 40-point blowout to Notre Dame. But he had 131 against Tennessee, 147 against A&M, who does struggle against the run, 116 Mississippi State, and then even 85 last week against LSU. Texas needs to hold him closer to that Auburn-Notre Dame number, in my opinion. 63 against Notre Dame, 41 against Auburn. If you look up in the fourth quarter and he's in that 40 to 550 range, I think that may be a pretty decent sign for Texas in one way. But these teams both struggle at back covering the ball in the air. So I do think it'll be a high-scoring game because of that.
All right, Bobby, tell us this morning about Vaughn Lane, please, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Fall brings busy weekends, crisp weather, and plenty of travel plans, from business trips and family visits to those can't-miss football games in Austin, like the one coming up this weekend. If you're a Longhorn fan heading to Austin for the big game, these big games that close out this season, including the one next week against A&M, there's no better way to get there than Vaughn Lane. Forget the airport crowds, I-35 traffic, I-10 traffic, wherever you're coming from. With Vaughn Lane, you board in minutes at a private hotel terminal located just minutes from your final destination, then relax in one of only 22 oversized first-class seats with Wi-Fi, power outlets, and personal service that make the miles fly by. Every Vaughn Lane trip includes complimentary snacks, beverages, and hot towel service with complimentary meals available on select routes. Whether you're traveling for a football weekend, Thanksgiving, or Christmas, Vaughn Lane turns your travel into downtime. Book today at vaughnlane.com and use code OTF25 to save on your first ride. Vaughn Lane, your private jet on wheels, now serving Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Plano, the Woodlands, even in Nashville, Memphis, Atlanta, and Knoxville. I can't tell you guys, by the way, how many people have talked to me about using Vaughn Lane and how, look, with the airport's going to be crazy this year, make sure you at least give Vaughn Lane a look.
Speaking of traveling to Austin, got a question here from Jake. He says, lifelong Longhorn fan stuck in Nebraska, going to my first game at DKR this week. What do I need to do pregame to get the best game day experience?
Bevo Boulevard, team gets off the bus, is dropped off at the north end of Bevo Boulevard about 2 hours before the game. That's always cool to kind of see that. I think that's a big part of the game day experience is your first at Texas is make sure you get to Bevo Boulevard. I think it's a really cool place to be when they drop off the team prior to the game. That's where it starts for me. Obviously, there's a bunch of tailgating and other stuff, but if you're coming in for the first game, I wouldn't miss the Bevo Boulevard experience and the team getting off the bus. That's one of the cool things about college football.
I completely agree with Jerry. I mean, and we do our own tailgate, by the way. So make sure you check us out at our tailgate. Our tailgate actually is right next to where the band kind of congregates before they start their march. So it's up on Robert Dedman. But go to Bevo Boulevard. Chris Del Conte, Drew Martin, the guys within the athletic department have done a phenomenal job of making every Texas football game feel like a true event. Right, Jerry? That's the thing. Like before, and you and I know this, 10 years ago, it was a big deal that things were happening around the stadium, but it was really just a mass of people. Now it feels like a true event from start to finish, 3 hours. I mean, you get there 4 hours before the game and there's going to be stuff going on, and then go see the team 2 hours before. But soak it all in. There's a lot of things to do around the stadium. Austin's a great place to visit too, by the way. On a Saturday, Sunday weekend. Make sure you get yourself some good food, whether that's at Kirby Lane, where I'll be on Saturday morning a little bit, or wherever. We think Austin's a pretty good food town, so make yourself at home, enjoy your trip, and come out and see us tonight or tomorrow at the Co-op. If you get in on Friday, we'll be over there at 3:00. Jerry, myself, Rod Babers doing a live from there.
All right.
Hey, by the way, Jerry, I think, and this is just a call out for the Co-op, at 2:00 on Friday, Aaron Ross, Sonia Richards-Ross, are also going to be at the Co-op doing a thing from 2 to 3. So I'm excited. Maybe we could get one of those, an Olympic winner or a national champion on the show with us. We got to get Marcus to work. Marcus may be there as well. Going to get Marcus on getting his former teammate with us there on Friday.
Whatever we do, we better make it fast because they're fast.
Yeah.
If we do anything slow, they're gone.
Yeah.
All you'll see is the poof, and it's over.
Vapor trail.
Yes. If their kid doesn't run 4.3, I'll be shocked. I'll be really surprised if their kid, girl or boy, doesn't run 4.3. The girl may be the first 4.3 ever.
Marcus Myers in the background shaking his head. Yes. That's my opinion.
All right, let's actually look at the line and weather for the game. 79 degrees around the kickoff, fellas. That's not bad at all. It says partly sunny and pleasant, just a mild wind there, and pretty much no chance of precipitation. But the line has moved Texas now a 9-point favorite.
It opened at 10.5, Blake?
Thought it was a little lower than that, actually.
It went down to 8, back up to 9. I think some people got it at 8, 8.5. I think it's
that's
back
what I was thinking. I thought it was 8.
Yeah. So it's fluctuating right in there. Yeah, the bigger thing is the weather looks good right now, right? There's some weather moving through. I think most of it's going to be through and into the Houston area on Saturday, but it looks like a really, really good day for football to me. And as long as that precipitation stays away, like I said, I think it should be gone. Great day to tailgate, great day to come out, watch the Horns play. And on the number, I don't know. I haven't made my final prediction score on this yet. I'm still kind of waiting, but it's hard. Arkansas's found a way to keep every game inside that 9 number right there, except Notre Dame. I mean, that is not that everybody was favored by that number, but if you just look at Arkansas, I mean, they may have been down 14 going into the fourth quarter of a couple of games, but Ole Miss ended up 6, Tennessee 3, A&M 3, Auburn 9, Mississippi State 3, LSU 1. Half those games at home, half those games on the road. So they found a way with bad defense to be in every game in the fourth quarter, which is hard to do. But Bobby Petrino where would you – I mean, I don't know about ranking him, but Bobby, he's a top 5 play caller in college football. Game plan play caller. That's a history thing. It's like hard to argue it.
So what I would say to you, his issues aren't play calling.
No.
They're program building, fan interaction issues. But his issues are not play calling.
No, he's tremendous.
Right. And may not, and then you know what he also does a good job of? Quarterback identification.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson was his guy. I mean, when not everybody in the world went after Lamar Jackson. Taylon Green was not some big name quarterback, before he got a hold of him. So he's done a good job in that regard. But I do think his issues have not been play calling. It's been getting the right defensive coordinator with him, getting guys that, paying attention to all the little things you have to do as a head coach. Hey, I want to take this. Blake, do we have 5-10 minutes to start a discussion here on something?
Go ahead.
So, Jerry, I was thinking about this yesterday. Sark, before he met with the media to discuss what we talked about at the outset with the conversation about not wanting another job, not taking another job, he's here to stay, etc. Okay. He said he had the same conversation with his team prior to that. So that's how much that is affecting it. I think that can go one of two ways. I think that can be players are like, wow, he's really addressing it, or it can create an us versus them mentality.
Yeah.
Okay, circle the wagons. This is all about the people in this room versus all the noise that's outside. And when you're playing a team like Arkansas, maybe you need some of that. You need a circle the wagons mentality, because as you talked about early this week, this is going to be a big game for Texas from a mental standpoint. Do they have the stick-to-itiveness, for lack of a better term, to remain focused in a week? They're coming off a big loss against a top 5 team. And in the middle, they've got an 0-6 Arkansas conference team. And then they go play A&M, another top 5 team, to end it. So it's kind of like, do they allow themselves to get trapped in a trap game?
Yeah.
Where they're unfocused, and it almost feels like this outcry of some people that are trying to drudge up Steve Sarkisian and whatever rumors could be a halcyon call to the team to circle the freaking wagons.
Yeah.
And let's focus on what we can focus on, which is what the product we put out there between the lines. I mean, I kind of feel like this could be that seminal moment for them that they need to keep this focus against Arkansas.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good thought, and I think that's exactly what Sark is doing. One of the interesting things to me with college football now, college sports now, is when we talked about this with Ole Miss, and I'm not saying Sark's leaving, but I'm saying I'm taking this to the situation with Ole Miss. So, and it's totally different than the Sark situation. 80, 90, maybe even 100% of the Ole Miss players don't think Lane Kiffin is going to be their coach next year, right? But they've kept winning, and they're sitting there with one game left against at Mississippi State, the Egg Bowl, which will be a tough game for them, and then off to a college football playoff. So I agree with Bobby what the message is, and I think that can galvanize a team, and it should. I mean, I still say if Texas needs motivation, I've been saying it since Florida. I don't even know what to say at that point. But with the Ole Miss, the thing that I kind of looked at with an Ole Miss team that's going through a different situation, a much worse situation, they believe their coach is out the door. There's no way they don't. There's pictures of his family members getting off planes in LSU this week, the Florida reports about people in Gainesville looking at schools. What I'm getting at in a bad way is NIL. You're playing for your next contract in all these games, and that becomes part of this equation now too for these kids. And there's the good and the bad with that. The bad is if your team's struggling and agents are calling you and talking to you about, hey, do you want to stay or do you want to go? I mean, that's hard to be a college sports coach right now. I thought Tom Izzo had said some really interesting things about that lately at Michigan State, and I 100% agree with him. But that is something you go through as a coach, and I think that's what makes college sports right now, college air quotes, sports, it's so much tougher to keep your locker rooms together in athletics at the college level now. Because, and I've said this before, I mean, back in the day, Marcus Myers, Rod Babers, we've all kind of jokingly said this, nobody in one of their meals ever got up to go talk to an agent, right? That's the difference with where we're at now. So there's so many things coming at these guys. Hey, they may have to go do NIL work doing a week of after a bad loss, right, Bobby? There's so many things that come out these guys are encountering now or they're on their plate now, that it makes it so much tougher for, I think, for college coaches to keep their team locker room together. But I think that message is where it needs to be from the coaching side, from the Sark side, for sure. And I hope these kids, Texas, come out on the field Saturday, and you know what? Play for the name on the back of your jersey. Play for the name on the back of your jersey. Parents are in the stands. Just go prove a point. Look pissed off.
I kind of fundamentally disagree with you here. Yes, you can go play for the name on the back of your jersey. Yes, there's going to be agents, but you know what? Back in the day, there were girlfriends that bothered team members. There were tests to be taken in a class. There's always going to be distractions. I think that you have to galvanize and sacrifice for one another as a team. It ain't all about NIL. It's about how you go forward and reach your goal as a team. And I hope, and I'm not saying this is the case, Jerry, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope that this kind of distraction provides an opportunity for them to circle the wagons and take all this other superfluous crap out of it. That's what I'm saying. NIL, schoolwork, girlfriend, mom and dad, circle the wagons around the team. I think that's what Sark is trying to do, because he's going through it currently himself. He can empathize with those players, that they have all these issues, because he's got issues right now all around him. People saying crap about him that he did or didn't or whatever. Okay. He's trying to circle the wagons. He wants them to get on the bus with him and go fight. Not for NIL, not for the name solely on the back of the jersey. That's part of it. Always will be self-preservation, self-motivation is always a piece of it. But what he wants is a team that fights together in the fourth quarter, that holds each other accountable and tries to press forward as a group. Because I'll tell you right now, you can have a bunch of mercenaries in sports and end up with a 4-17 real quick. If you just have mercenaries, that ain't the way. And I hope that Sark's opportunity with these players to lead by example, showing that he's been through this crap, that he's going through this crap. He's asking them to get on the bus with him, to circle the wagons with him. And that's where I hope Texas ends up.
We have a couple of super chats that I would like to get to. Cade Stewart here says, making the college football playoff 2 seasons in a row set up lofty expectations for the 2025 team. We all overlooked how young and inexperienced this offense is. Expecting bigger things next season. Hook 'em. Now, on the complete opposite side of that, Ron R. says, I keep hearing Texas' underperformance is due to being young. Georgia has had 45% turnover since 2023. So why the difference between the two?
Why that's the
90% turnover between 2023. I mean, how many people are starting today that started in 2023 for Texas? DJ Campbell on offense and Anthony Hill on defense, maybe Ethan Burke.
Yeah. I think, look, I hear both sides of that discussion. Where it's tough for some of the fans, a lot of the fans right now, is Ohio State lost more than anybody, has a first-time starting quarterback. They replaced a lot of players, and they're still number one. Georgia started 2 freshmen on the offensive line. They lost multiple All-Americans on defense, really good players on offense, starting running back. And they're right there again. So it's a very interesting discussion, because I can hear both sides of it. I think the tough thing from the Texas standpoint is the teams you lost to, Ohio State and Georgia, they're not dissimilar this season. That's the hard thing. And that Cade Stewart says Ohio State hadn't played anyone. Maybe. They're handling everyone. I mean, they're handling everyone. That's the hard thing. I mean, but again, with what you look at, that discussion is very interesting because if Ohio State looked a little different, and Georgia's been a little vulnerable, but they still found a way to win games, right? If they had dropped a couple of those games this year, I think it's a much easier discussion they've had for me.
Texas is still their only 1-score game.
Yeah.
Hell, they're the only 2-score game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to your point, I mean, who have they played? I mean, to Cade's point, who have they played? I agree with you. They also are their dispatching of teams right now is pretty impressive. I mean, when your quarterback's 23 of 25, you've got a pretty good offense.
Yeah.
I would just say this, and going back to Cade's initial super chat, making the college football 2 seasons in a row set up lofty expectations. Absolutely. And to Jerry's point, in my opinion, the only 2 teams that are matching those expectations on consistent basis right now are Georgia and Ohio State. Yeah. What other team do you really think is on those two's level as a program right now? Oregon's not, in my opinion. I mean, that's what Texas is trying to ascend to. That's where 2 of 3 losses have come from for Texas. What other team? I mean, Penn State had lofty expectations this season. They don't even they lost their coach. They fired their coach because he was so bad. So you're trying to get into a very exclusive club, Cade, and there's no crime in that. We should all try it. Texas in particular, they did not meet those expectations. They did not enter that elite of elite club that I frankly think only Ohio State and Georgia occupy currently.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody else occupy? I mean, Alabama doesn't occupy that, Jerry.
No,
Since Saban left, they don't occupy. I mean,
they're the national championship winners too. I mean, that's the difference. I think Oregon, if they make the playoffs this year, kind of makes that jump because then they're
still not same level as Ohio State.
No, but they may be the program right below them if they make the playoff this year.
Notre Dame,
Marcus Freeman, yeah. Now people say they don't play anybody, but if Freeman gets to another semifinal or national title game, I'm not saying he is, then that they don't play anybody argument has to go out the table. If he gets back in the playoffs and wins games in the playoffs again, then eventually that has to go off the table, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The 2 big teams in college football right now, and that's what I'm saying is you have to appreciate everybody is trying to get in that category. Texas knocked on the door last 2 seasons, and they got turned away this season. They got to go back for it next year. I do think they're young. And to the other Super Chat's point, they have lost 90% of their roster, at least, compared to whoever's percentage you're talking about.
Well, we got more to get to, but first, Jerry, I'm going to let you tell everyone this morning about Harry's.
Oh, I can do that. Man, I almost got some razor burn on purpose and made it look absolutely horrible for this read, but I inflict enough pain on myself on a daily basis, so I didn't do that. And last Saturday probably did that. Do I have razor burn from last Saturday night at all still left? Probably not. Did your old razor dull too fast and irritate your neck? Did they cost way too much? $30 for 8 refills? That is a total scam, by the way. Harry's Plus is Harry's new razor invention and their heaviest razor handle ever made from metal, never plastic. Designed to fit comfortably in your hand, heavier handle means more control and a luxurious feel, and that is the truth. Harry's doesn't just make razors. They've got a full line of grooming essentials, from shave gel to deodorant to body wash, all thoughtfully made and priced to stock up. All of Harry's blades and grooming products can be delivered right to your door. Set your preferred schedule and never run out of blades again. Harry's owns their own world-class blade factory in Germany. No outsourcing, no middleman. The same facility has been perfecting blades, making it for over 100 years. Something to remember there. For a limited time, our listeners can get Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/ontexas. This set includes the all-new Harry's plus razor, 1 refined 5-blade cartridge, a 2-ounce foaming gel, and a travel cover to protect your blades on the go. Just head to harrys.com/ontexas to claim this offer. And after the purchase, they'll ask where we heard about him. On Texas football, Bobby will be taking his travel case to Austin. His Harry's travel case this weekend.
And I'm going to tell everyone this morning about Prize Picks because we make decisions daily. But on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid, and it's simple. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. You get them right, you can cash in, win up to 2,000 times your money. And Prize Picks is the best way to get in on the sports action in more than 40 states. That includes California, Florida, Georgia, and right here in the great state of Texas. And this week, I have Trey Wisner scoring at least 1 touchdown, Mason Shipley having more than 3.5 PATs made, Taylon Green to have at least 1 passing touchdown, and TCU running back Jeremy Payne to have more than 29.5 rushing yards. Come join me on those picks or make your own in less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real money. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code ONTEXAS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code ONTEXAS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And that's Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Taylon Green, only 1 passing touchdown?
At least.
Yeah, I think that's probably a
shoe-in?
I don't know. I'm not
Yes.
a gambler. I'm not a gambler, but I think that may be one you might.
That's like saying Steph Curry's going to hit 1-3. Come on. Not against this Texas secondary right now.
Joe, I'm on a roll, by the way. I got to say, I have done very well here lately. With
Josie shows up in the chat.
Yeah. He's
Oregon must be on a bye week.
Yeah. On Oregon, football is busy this morning, apparently. All right. Well, we got more super chats to get to. Let's see here. We got a pair from Jeff Carey. First, Jeff says, Bobby and Jerry, we need to win out, which will really help Sark. We need to have Sark as the head coach and avoid the crap storm. But then Jeff also says Sark's a very good head coach, but can't gaslight like Sark's an offensive genius. There are big problems on his team, such as discipline, that should be pointed out.
I agree.
Both are true, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point, Jerry. I mean, both things can be true simultaneously. Yeah. It's not everybody is perfect and there's not a hair out of place. Nobody is saying that. And frankly, that's not what Steve Sarkisian's saying when he talks about this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think people conflate the two issues. It's not that we're saying Steve Sarkisian doesn't have issues on offense right now or with penalties or with, pick something out with his secondary. But that doesn't mean, he's going to be leaving. I mean, you can't conflate the two things. And I think what's happening is you're getting this perfect storm that's melding all these issues together that make people kind of jittery about the whole thing, right? And you have to try to really intellectually separate the two things as a fan, because him being an offensive genius, and whether he is or isn't from a scoring perspective, at least, he hasn't been this year. Probably hasn't been the last 2 years. And so I think that, I want to see what happens and try to separate those two things and then go from there. Because he's probably going to make moves in the offseason. I don't know what they'll be. I can't sit here and tell you he's going to do this, and that'll satisfy the Texas fan base. Nobody knows that quite yet. I don't. And so at the same time, you give him the due respect of he's our coach. Let's go get on the bus with him and root these kids on and be there for them instead of making a mockery of college football and, this, whether it's Desmond Howard or whoever, having to respond to tweets or from different folks, et cetera. That's a different story. And as Texas fans need to understand, you can't conflate the two, even though you try. And it's very difficult.
Yeah. So I would add on to the question of Jeff Carey. I have the next 2 games in 2 different, well, maybe not in 2 different categories for the fans, but one for the team and one for Sark. You have to beat Arkansas. If you want things to not get really ugly, you better not lose to Arkansas. And for Sark and all the records versus this and that chatter, he needs to go beat A&M in 2 weeks. He has to win this week, and then he needs to go beat A&M in his own house in 2 weeks. Because the last thing you want to do is go into recruiting season, the next class, into the off season, which is a long off season in football, and people are going to be plastering that record, and it'll be every day in chats. And is he a year away from being James? For all the things that are going to be said, be written about, be talked about on chats everywhere. He needs to win out. I think that would help him greatly right now, is to win out. And obviously, if you lose to this Arkansas team, it's going to get ugly. And the chat will be, I'm going to have to wear shades to get through the chats. Love you guys. But the shows, but as it should be. But that's kind of where I have it for him. You need to win the next 2 games, by the way. And I'm not saying you don't, but I think there's the category of the Arkansas game for Sark and the team and the program. And then there's the A&M game, which I think obviously you need to win it. But I think for Sark, I think it has extra meaning because it's a top 5 opponent. They're going to be 11-0 coming to Austin. And one of the things that's being talked about a lot is your record versus top 5 and top 10 now. You got to change that. The only way to change the narrative is to win the game.
I want to say this. Lose, to Jerry's point, lose to Arkansas. This whole fan base has only seen the tip of the spear of what it could be. So that's one of the reasons why I think that the team does have to galvanize this weekend.
And Rocky P and Hoosier Horns had some comments to put them up on the screen. Rocky P talking about, Bobby, you need to eat that corn dog to reverse the curse. And then that's
a great idea. That's a great idea.
Regardless. And then Hoosier says it's sad how fast everyone, including the fan base, turns on the quarterback and coaches. Sark will never be Kirby. Support the fellas. It will help more than anything. So, all right. It is Thursday, which means our weekly Thursday guest, Will Matthews, is here today. Will, good morning.
What's good, team? No matter what happens in the Texas world and universe, your boy Will is always decked out in burnt orange. Because look, coaches, people come and go, everybody comes and goes, but we'll hook them forever. That's just what it is. So looking forward to this weekend.
Hey, so Will, from your vantage point last week, let's just kind of take us through the game from your vantage point, the start to the finish, but just kind of your general thoughts on all of it. You were on the field last week.
Yeah, for me, I always like to look at the game as a whole and then put at it through the season. And I'm watching from pregame. I really want to see how the guys come out. Are they focused? Are they dropping passes? People in the right place? Do they look excited? And it was kind of this the same kind of thing. Guys were out there, they were doing their thing. There was focus, there was passion, but there was a different level of focus and passion on the other side of the field. Like, we're talking the first time that they get, they call the flip and we kick off and they get the ball. When that offensive line ran up to the field in their first play, they came in there like they were ready to hit, like they were ready to go, and they were ready to enforce their will. And, you start to see these keys and you start to watch them kind of continue and build throughout the game. And it seemed as if Georgia they had that, y'all are in our house and thanks for coming, welcome, but we're going to take it to you. And hats off to the guys. Like, they were competitive throughout 3 quarters. Georgia jumps out and scores twice, and I never felt like that was an insurmountable amount of touchdowns for Texas to come back on. They kick the field goal, and then they get that touchdown, and then the onside kick. And guys, I mean, just to be honest, just me between the Longhorn Nation, I have never seen a play that deflated a team more than that. everybody from that moment didn't know what to do next. Like my son, my 9-year-old, he'll drop something on the floor and he'll look at me and he's like, "Dad, what do I do?" And I'm like, "Clean it up." Like it was that moment where the guys were like, "What do we do?" It was a back-breaking affair, and I'm really just happy that there weren't more points scored on the Georgia side. And the maturity of the team and as they're developing, it's really something like this kind of has to happen when you're young and you don't know the amount of energy and passion you need to bring to a game, especially in someone else's house. You got to get hit in the mouth a couple of times. And, I hate that it happened. I know that there's some good, me, Captain Positive out here. They really have an opportunity to take it out on Arkansas this week. And this game for me is definitely the game where we're going to get to see what's in here, what's in their heart, who they are, what they're playing for, and what's the most important. Because at the end of the day, whether the guys play on in the NFL or not, winning at Texas means food for your family, right? That when Dusty Mangum kicked that ball and it hit the uprights, partially blocked, and went in at the Rose Bowl against Michigan, that literally changed the direction of my life, right? And then even more the next year when they win the national championship, I wasn't there, but I get to tag on. And my family eats because of that. So not only are you playing for what's on front and what's on back, but you're playing for your future. And being a guy who's been out of the game for a little while, I get to see what those kinds of things do. But you go in there and you lay an egg against Arkansas, and the same thing against A&M. That's a blight that you can't get off. You can never get off. You can't get that off film. When I think it was Michael Griffin hit that tight end in Ohio State in the end zone, when he caught the ball and dropped it, he will always be known as that guy who dropped the ball. Right, wrong, or indifferent,
True.
the film, that's the film.
It's played over and over again by Texas people, if nothing else.
Mostly by Texas people. So, yeah, there's got to be some pride there. And I think the guys are going to step up, and they've got enough of that pride, too.
Let me ask you this. You just said something that kind of hit me and struck me. Texas's 3 losses all on the road this year. Florida, Ohio State, Georgia, all on the road. Poor performances on the road. Kentucky, really bad on offense. Really
Mississippi State. Yeah.
Mississippi State. Anything to that, in your opinion, that maybe young teams, because it struck me when you said you have to teach your son to get up off the mat and go do something about these obstacles that are put in his way. Anything to that, in your opinion, for this team this year, Will?
Yeah, and it's really in our culture, we really want them to win quickly. We want them to win now. When Quinn Ewers went into Alabama, was at 22-23, and took it to them, there was a level of focus and determination and know what I'm doing. I know my identity. I know who I am. We're going to win this game. And that's something he came into a team that a lot of those guys had been playing 3, 4, 5 years in the program. A couple of guys were in the program before. They played a lot of football. They had seen some in and outs, and they lost a lot of games, that group as well. And so it is a level of maturity that I haven't really been able to see in the guys yet, because, Bobby, what you just said, I mean, Mississippi State, Kentucky, we're talking about the same exact things happening when they go into someone else's house. And really, it is the ability, and Casey started to talk about this, Rackpo and all those guys, is we love to hear quiet fourth quarter. You go into A&M and the first 3 quarters are ruckus, and they're sawing varsity's horns off and swaying all over the place at you. But there is nothing like groups leaving in the fourth quarter and a silent place in someone else's house. And Texas hasn't really had the maturity yet to capitalize on it and be able to push it into the fourth quarter so that they can say, man, we put our stake down in your house, and now this is our house. and we're ravenous on the road. I just haven't seen that, and I think that's a next level of maturity. I don't want to us keep pushing things off into next year, but that's something that you learn over time. And with the team led by Arch, he's gaining that. He's gaining that, and so I'm wanting to see him play out of that space, especially as we move into the last couple of games and into the postseason.
Hey, Will, what was your vantage point of the onside kick? Where were you standing? Did you notice anything yourself?
Just picking that scab, Jerry. Just picking that scab.
Oh, no, I just want to know. Did you see anything beforehand that caught you off guard?
Jerry, they scored quickly,
yeah.
And I personally was totally in line with what Texas did. Now, here's what I did. Now, watch this. They scored, and I said, all right, guys, let's go. Lick your wounds. They line up to kick that ball, and I'm standing in line with that kick. And this is what I do. I go, I'm looking for the ball going deep, just like everybody else. I tell you what, it happened so quick, I thought they cheated. I was like, you cheated. And I started to pout myself. And I'm in my 40s, and and I played in the NFL, and I've moved on. And I still felt like it was a back-breaking blow. There was nothing from that sideline that I saw that told us that was going to happen. That needed to be something where you were like, hey, remember what they did last year? Remember what happened last time? Remember this? And I totally forgot. And I had it written down in my notes. And I'm looking for the ball. I'm like, let's go, Niblet. Let's go.
Hey, Will, looking forward to this Arkansas game. Texas went up there last year, beat Arkansas in a tough matchup. But now they're sitting in a situation where they're winless in conference play, and they're coming to Austin. Bobby Petrino is trying, like you know what, to get the job full time. He's auditioning for it right now. There's no better way for an Arkansas coach to audition and win a job than to beat the Texas Longhorns in Austin. What do you make of a team like Arkansas coming to Austin that's somewhat desperate? And they have some firepower on offense. What do you expect from this Texas team this weekend?
You know, I really just digging into it. Taylor Green is a special player. He just is. And that defense that they have, I saw they played a little uninspired. They've got some ability. They got a great pass rusher. I think he's got eight sacks right now. So he's playing at a top level. And the defense from time to time, it seems like if things are going well and Taylor's playing well and there's an opportunity, they play well. But really it just kind of, whatever Taylor is doing, that's what works. I watched him against LSU, and one of the first passes, he rolls out to the left, jumps in the air and throws the ball on a dime, going right. And you're like, who is this guy? And then he throws a pick. He throws two picks directly to the person. And so you wonder, is that a bit of maturity? Is that, some heartache from coaches leaving and promises not coming to fruition? But they're very dangerous, Bobby. Like you could sneeze and they've got speed, they've got ability, and then it could go down to the wire. I think they're going to be able to score. The way Taylor's throwing the ball, it could be a couple touchdowns and a couple of picks. But Texas has got to be ready to capitalize on that. They've got some key injuries on their side. Texas, a couple of our main players will be slower, and Anthill may not play this game. So there is some opportunity for Arkansas. And if I was Arkansas, I'd be chomping at the bit. Like this is their Rose Bowl, right? Like we went in there to play Michigan. This is what they're coming to do. They come to Austin and they're and if they can beat Texas on a national platform, whoever wants a job will get a job up there. Whatever will happen, because they remember us from the 60s and 70s, and that hatred, I didn't understand it. We played in the early 2000s against them, and I was like, these people really hate us. And then fast forward to 2022 when we go up there, and I had never that stadium was louder than A&M. It was louder than Georgia. And on par with Florida. They came there to take blood and to show Texas what it means to go. See y'all later. Going back across that line. We'll talk to you another time. All right now. But I mean, if Texas, and I think where that question was going, if Texas can't get up for this one, if there's no pride in here, then pack it in, and I'll see you in one of those other bowls. I'll see you after Christmas, and we'll play somebody from the Big Ten and slap hands and move on. But if Texas wants to even have a chance and play for pride and for the front and the back of that jersey, they've got to show up this weekend.
Will always ask when you're running your next marathon. Turns out it's this season.
Jerry Hamilton. Hey, Will, give us your prediction for this game against the Razorbacks.
Yeah, I think both teams are going to score a lot. That defense has laid down a couple of times, and especially in big moments. They have the players to play. I think on the offensive side, Taylor Green's going to come out and want to do his thing, and they're going to score some points. And I'm thinking somewhere around 28-35, Texas. And I give it that score. I would say 30-10, but I give them that score because those first three quarters have played very well. But that fourth quarter, they've shown the ability to lose focus and allow whatever team to get back into the game. If Texas can hold those three quarters and put us together some sort of serviceable fourth quarter, they should win by at least one touchdown. And so should be a great game. I hope it doesn't come down to the wire. But this team, they're hurting. They're struggling. They're in a corner. Do not take this team lightly.
Good stuff. Will, thank you so much. Longhorn sideline analyst reporter for the Longhorn Radio Network. You can catch him in game on the Longhorn Radio Network. Thanks so much, Will. You be good, buddy.
Hook 'em. Talk to you guys.
Longhorns, man. Take care of yourself. Always good to have Will on the show, man.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yep.
Dude.
All right. Well, you're watching Coffee and Football presented by Vaughn Lane. We got to talk a little recruiting. We got a few more super chats before we get out of here. But first, Bobby, I need you to tell everyone about Warby Parker this morning.
I can do it. If you're like me, when it comes to eyewear, you need a high-quality, easy solution that's also affordable. That's why I use Warby Parker. It's easy, affordable, and the selection just can't be beat. Glasses start at $95 and include prescription lenses with anti-reflective, scratch-resistant coatings. Add a pair and save 15% when you purchase 2 or more prescription pair of sunglasses or regular glasses. Free shipping and free 30-day returns. Warby Parker has more than 300 brick-and-mortar locations to help you find your next pair of glasses. Or you can also head over to warbyparker.com/ontexas right now to try on any pair virtually. This is what I did. It's a really cool feature. Basically, you put in your prescription. I wear progressive lenses. I dialed it all up. I had a picture of myself on the screen, could see what they look like. All of that stuff. Really, really simple and cool. That's warbyparker.com/ontexas. warbyparker.com/ontexas. Up to 15% off. You buy 2 pairs. Right now, glasses start as low as $95.
And I'm going to tell everyone about AG1. I have a strict morning routine. Used to, I'd wake up, take a bunch of vitamins and supplements. That took forever. Then I'd have to take the kids to school, get ready for coffee and football. It just took a big chunk of my morning. That all changed when I heard about AG1. It's a daily foundational nutrition in one drink. Pretty much every nutrient you can think of is in this thing. They have 5 probiotic strains and 75 plus vitamins and minerals. AG1 Next Gen replaces the need for multivitamin, probiotics, and much more. I told y'all my oldest son, Colt, drinks it as well every single morning before his workouts. He's now a believer in AG1. He's seen the results. I've seen them. We both can tell you that we have more energy. We have better digestive support. A great wellness routine all starts with your gut, and AG1 is the way to go. It's not just another supplement, it's a daily micro habit that supports whole body health in one scoop. So head to drinkag1.com/ontexas. They're going to hook you up with a free welcome kit, which includes a bottle of vitamin D and free AG1 travel packs when you first subscribe. That's drinkag1.com/ontexas. Okay, Jerry, let's talk a little recruiting before we get to some more questions. Visitor list been changed a little bit. I'm going to put that up and let you talk about it first.
Yeah, so we by the way, Teray Davis is not coming in this weekend. I do want to mention that his playoff game got changed to Saturday, so he will not be coming in. Bryson Martinez is still scheduled to make his OV. Richard Anderson is scheduled to make his OV. Caden Scherer, Jet Walker out of Georgetown. They play a Friday night playoff game coming in either late Friday night or early Saturday morning. Josh Vilmel, the corner nickel out of Fort Bend Travis. Obviously, the new commit, Charlie Gillette, the tight end out of Portage, Michigan. If you don't know where Portage is, it's a lot south of Kalamazoo. Texas hasn't recruited up there much, so Gillette is a really good senior eval, in my opinion. It's had a great senior year. Then a family member of Richard Wesley let me know yesterday that he will be in town. And Richard Wesley, a 5-star edge. I watched him work out this summer in July, and I think the guy's got such a bright future in football. And he's putting up good stats this year, but Sierra Canyon is so good. And I've mentioned this before on our recruiting breakdowns. They are so good. He's played about, I think, 7 games. He only played a half. So he has like 8.5 sacks, 12.5 tackles for loss. But their team is just, I think their team has maybe 7 shutouts in 10 games this year. They are so good versus their competition and so dominant defensively. He doesn't get to play a ton of snaps. What I did ask somebody around that recruitment is about Havon Finney, the corner committed to LSU that's at Sierra Canyon as well. And they know Texas is recruiting him, but to their knowledge, he's not scheduled to be in this week. And we'll see if Texas brings him in or can get him in before the signing period, which will be about, 2 weeks? 2 weeks away, pretty much. But we know there will be some 2027 kids come in. A lot of this is playoff game dependent. What happens with their playoff games? Do you win or lose? Do you have some stuff on Saturday? If you win, it's playoff seasons. But there's going to be more kids. We won't be surprised if there's not a additional 2026 kid that pops up or two, and we'll see on that. But some big recruiting visits this weekend. And, again, it's very interesting with the kids committed to LSU to me that are early enrollees, how they're going to attack their signing day and their process 2 weeks out. And I do like that Texas is a school that's getting those kids on official visits, because I'm here to tell you Richard Anderson's a bad dude, or should be. Everybody's got to keep developing. He should be. And Bryson Martinez, I saw him last week, has extreme upside as an offensive tackle. That's 2 of the better guys in the LSU class. And to be the school that gets them on campus for OVs is really good. And that'll be Martinez's second visit this month of November.
Hey, Jerry, thank you for the excellent update. I want to say this real quick. A lot of people have made comments on our YouTube page about how you're saying Martinez.
Yeah.
Because obviously in Texas, that would be Martinez.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I both know that, if you've grown up in Texas, that's a common last name. But in Louisiana, they are pronouncing it Martinez.
Yeah.
And so that's why Jerry is pronouncing it that way. You wouldn't believe, Jerry, I think maybe 10 to 15 people have commented in our YouTube. Hey, Jerry's saying his last name wrong. Come on. You can get this right. But it's actually, there's a reason for that. I guess I just wanted to
the sportscasters in that area that have done stories on him are saying Bryson Martinez.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, not done with recruiting. Uncle Vic had a good day yesterday, baby. Picked up a 5-star commitment. Blake Monroe, Bree Crittenden out of Colorado, 6'3", power forward, 5-star. By the way, you can follow basketball coverage, not just here. We have our shows, but on Texas Basketball Instagram as well. We have a bunch of stuff over there. But Bree Crittenden, 5-star, ranked in the top 15 in the country by most people, committed to Texas yesterday. Then that's the 3rd commitment of this class, which is currently ranked number 6 or 7, depending on where you look at, that covers women's hoops recruiting. But then today, Addison Bjorn is scheduled to announce her commitment. She is 6'2", has dunked the basketball in games, has been recruited by everybody in the country. She is out of Park Hill South in Missouri. She's scheduled to make her announcement today. If air quotes podcast people, if she commits to Texas, Texas is probably going to have the number 1 ranked class in the country. Some people may have Notre Dame 1 and Texas 2, but if they finish this thing off today, then that would be potentially a number 1 class in the country in the early period. So if that happens, we'll all hat tip to Vic. We won't be here, obviously. Well, we will be here in the morning if she picks Texas today. But there's a little news on women's hoops recruiting. Sean Miller, Austin Gooseby officially signed yesterday. Men's recruiting, number 6 or 7 ranked class in the early period. And so could they add somebody late? If Darren Rippey doesn't sign early, could Texas hang around on him? 5-star point guard, potentially, maybe. But then you have to make a decision between the portal, going more experience, and another high school guy. But so both classes, both men's and women's hoops, top 10 classes right now. Hat tip to those guys.
Bjorn, 6'2", out of Missouri, like you said. She's part of the USA Junior National Program as well. Crittenden out of Thornton, Colorado. Both really, really talented players, apparently. But Bjorn expected to make that announcement today. I don't know if you saw it or not, but Uncle Vic, he's usually in his fishing attire.
Yeah.
For lunch or for coffee and football, whenever we have him on, he's kind of got the hoodie on, and he's starting to channel his inner Steve Sarkisian with some game day kind of stuff going on right now. He's getting up there. He's spending some money at the highly tailored shops. We got to give him some guff about that, Jerry, when he comes on next. He's not wearing fishing gear anymore to basketball games. He's up in the level a little bit.
Yeah, if he gets Bjorn today, he should go like full Kim Mulkey outfit as a male coach. Celebrate. That should be his Kirby Smart trash talk. Wear a Mulkey outfit on our show, not the coach. Just on our show. I'm sure Blair, his daughter, could help put that together. Blair, if you're listening, you probably aren't, but if you are.
Okay, let's jump over to some more super chats. Bald Father Bet says, I see some people still talking playoff. It isn't happening, and that's okay. However, the committee still isn't taking strength of schedule into account like it needs to.
I think there's a level of truth to that second part. It isn't happening if they don't win, for sure. Is there an outside shot that Texas gets into the playoffs? Things have to, if they win the next 2, well, things would have to fall right. Some other teams would have to lose, etc. So it isn't likely happening. I agree with you. Is it 100% not happening? No. And the prognosticators and the actual data would say that that's somewhat inaccurate. But I get your point. Less than a 10% chance, I would agree with. However, the committee still isn't taking strength of schedule into account like it needs. The big thing that people are talking about right now, Jerry, is the fact that the SEC is going to a 9-game schedule next year.
Yeah.
And you still have Texas out there scheduling the Ohio States, Notre Dames, and Michigans of the world over the next 5 years. So if they don't take strength of schedule into account like they should, with a 9-game conference schedule and a 10th game against a national power, all 3 of those teams are in the top 15 in the country right now, by the way, I think. What are you supposed to do? I mean, are you supposed to go the Kurt Cignetti route and, schedule, brother Christian of, Harrisburg? Or I don't know what you're supposed to do. And I think this committee has to get this right. They have to figure out how strength of schedule really plays in. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what number you go to. It's always going to be not enough or not right. Yeah,
I think they need to get to 16 teams as quick as possible is my big thought on this, because I think once it goes to 16, I think that is a little different game for me. Like if you told me this was going to stay at 12 forever, I would say do not schedule the Ohio States, Michigans, that game in your non-conference. I would say absolutely take that off the table. Get a mid-level team. If we're going to stay at 12 teams, but once it goes to 16, I think you have a little more latitude in your schedule.
Fair.
Because then there's those 4 extra at-large spots. But right now at 12, I mean, I would not if you told me it was going to be 12 for the next 7 years, I'd start pushing games back. Especially going to 9-game SEC schedule.
Well, 16 teams with 3 losses, you're in.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, Antoine here with Super Chat. Met y'all last year before Colorado State. See y'all on Saturday again. What about NFL decisions?
Oh.
Weissner, Moore, Indry, Scoosby, Canoe, Hill, he says gone. Muhammad, McDonald.
And we talked about this yesterday in State of the Program, didn't we, a little bit, Jerry? I think that I believe Indries is going to be gone no matter what. I think this is seen as his senior year. I think Anthony Hill is gone for sure. Beyond and Trey Moore is definitely gone. Beyond that, Weissner, Gooseby, Canoe, Muhammad, and McDonald. I don't know if any of those are gone or if maybe 2 or 3. I think the next most likely are Muhammad and McDonald. Like as of right now, I don't expect Trevor Gooseby to go there. I don't expect Hero Canoe or Trey Weissner to go there. You never know.
Yeah.
But that's not the expectation. But Muhammad and McDonald are maybe the next 2. And I think maybe in that order of expectation of going pro. What do you think? I mean, you think Muhammad's slightly more likely to go pro than Jelani McDonald at this point?
Yes. Yes. The interesting one that we didn't talk about yesterday, Bobby, which is on this one, and McDonald, of the Texas players this year on this team, McDonald's probably raised his stock the most that had a little stock. Hero Canoe had no stock in NFL drafts and now does.
Yep.
Hey,
by the way,
interesting for him.
By the way, I think I messed up. I said Trey Moore. I think he's thinking DeAndre Moore.
Oh, DeAndre Moore. Yeah.
I don't think DeAndre Moore is going to go pro. I don't know that he's done enough to do that.
Bobby, Hero Canoe's an interesting one though, because he's a come out of nowhere guy. And if you start to get a mid-round grade, then you have an interesting decision to make, because you didn't transfer last year thinking you would have a decision to potentially make. He actually becomes interesting through his play this year and being healthy all year so he could play the snaps in his first year as a major contributor. Like Murad Watson, even though he has another year left, Murad Watson's been banged up all year. So Murad Watson's been snaps. He couldn't play as many snaps due to injury at times. Hero Canoe's had one of those seasons for a defensive lineman where everything's gone really, really well for him. It'll be interesting to see what he does.
All right. Joshua wants to know, why haven't we seen Clark or Simon much lately?
Tight games is my opinion. And Clark saw some action, but didn't do a lot with what he got to see, with what options he had. Simon, I think, is a redshirt candidate right now, frankly. And maybe he doesn't change the what's the right word there? The outcome much from Trey Weissner, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right now. And so, look, when you're only running the running backs 10 times in a game, that you may not need a second or third guy right then.
Yeah, there's that part.
Hopefully, I mean, don't forget what Trey Weissner did against A&M last year. How many carries he have? Yards? 187.
Yeah. 33 for 186, 187. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's setting up. I don't know.
It'd be hilarious if Texas couldn't run the ball all year, then ran for 200 yards on A&M, because they're not good against the run. Would be fitting, wouldn't it?
I would laugh. Yes.
It'd be fitting. The only two games you ran it well were Oklahoma and A&M. That'd be pretty funny.
Laugh, Lee.
Joey here. Is it safe to say Arch is a 3-year starter at Texas and that it will take that long to get things cranking? What does that do to the quarterback room at season end? Thanks for the great work and hook 'em.
I've always said it's 2 years, and I'll leave the option open for a third because the Manning family. We said this back. Not that Arch was even. It was beyond Arch wasn't going to be ready to go because he hadn't enough starts, enough experience as a starting quarterback. But the Mannings have never done it that way. That's when all these articles are written about him being the number one prospect in the draft. And we said all summer, it doesn't matter. Just look at how the family has done things. You think they're changing course of what's worked? There's like 0% chance that family is going to change course of what has worked for them. So even if Arch had a really, really impressive season, I still don't think it was going to happen because 25 games starting in college football is a thing. And that's a thing. Now, the question is, if he makes a big jump next year, I do think it'll be 2. But do I think 3's on the table? I'll think 3's on the table until it's not. Because everybody else, all the articles in the offseason and all summer will be, this is Arch's last year in college football. They don't know that. They don't know that.
All right. Let's see. Then we have Katie here. Was our pregame energy different at the OU game?
I think she meant that for Will, and I forgot to bring that up. I think that she meant that. Katie, we'll talk to Will about that next week. But I think Texas was really extremely fired up for that game.
I just want to say there is nothing like the pregame energy at OU.
Yeah.
In ever. Any year. It's just different. I mean, OU is always, always, always different because it is half the stadium loves you, the other half hates your guts. It's kind of mind-blowing to watch, actually, from the field. I mean, it is bizarre. So you can't even replicate it, is my point, Katie, even if you wanted to.
All right, Jerry, I know you got to get out of here, so we will see you tomorrow morning.
Talk to you tomorrow morning, guys. Blake loved the Christmas trees. Tell wifey she did a great job. I can't wait to see what's next on the wall.
Hey, if Texas loses this weekend, you're bringing the witch back, Jerry, by the way. I forgot to tell you.
Yeah, she wanted me to ask you where it went.
I haven't put that thing away yet, by the way.
All right. See you later, Jerry. Okay, Bobby, we got a few more before we get out of here. And, this one was actually for Jerry, but Real Longhorn Jose says all this Sark talk and smart comments are just teams trying to mess with our guys' heads, push transfer thoughts, and screw with our recruiting.
No doubt. And then you have a couple of what I would call national writers that are just, pile hopping, essentially. It's like, he's already been tackled. Let's jump on top of the pile. That's what some of this is. And I'll just say what I said at the beginning. Talking to folks that I've spoken to, there will be no mutual parting of the ways with Texas. If for whatever reason Steve Sarkeesian gets offered, a gazillion dollars to go do something, that's one thing. But Texas has no interest in losing Steve Sarkeesian at this point. So, anybody putting that out there and acting like that is irresponsible right now.
And then the next one here, another one from Real Longhorn Jose. I thought I saw him twice. Okay. He says, me and my son are heading up from Houston on Saturday for our yearly game. Texas is going to come out and make a statement.
Let's do it. I'll be there with you, Jose. And I hope they are. I hope they're ready. And I hope they've used this opportunity to kind of mute the naysayers, I guess, or the guys that are trying to pick holes in their program.
Rocky P, call me overly optimistic, but I'm not giving up on the college football playoff. We talk about playing through the whistle. I'm going to support them through the whistle. I'm fighting for this team. Anything can happen.
Good stuff, Rocky.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Never know. Never know what will happen. And then the final one for today, Bobby, is from Edgar, and he says, "Hey, OTF, you should consider a behind the scenes or how it started episode. Really great show y'all have, and it would be cool to see how the sausage is made." Hook 'em.
Yeah, you really want to see behind the scenes stuff with Jerry Hamilton? I mean, you see the front of the screen with him. Do you really want to see behind the screen? I'm kidding. Thanks, Edgar, for watching. We started it about 3 years ago. Kind of just wanted to get going and connect with Longhorn fans, and thought this would be a good way to do it. And since then, since that time, we've added folks along the way. Marcus Meyer is just there, just mentioning it. Just good people is what I've tried to keep on the channel that love the Longhorns. And I think we've got a great group. So thanks, Edgar. It's very nice of you to say. You do not want to know Jerry Hamilton behind the scenes, though. I can promise you that. Just think of this. He thinks Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is like normal. Like that, Jerry, like, that's what it would be.
Oh man. All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for today's episode of Coffee and Football, presented by Vaughn Lane. I want to thank Vaughn Lane along with Prize Picks, Harry's, AG1, and Warby Parker, all for sponsoring today's show. And Bobby, what can people expect later today?
Well, later today, we've got the football theory episode coming out with Rod. He's going to go over some ideas that he has for this coming game. We also have a live stream tonight, this evening, led by Rod. I believe Jeff Howe will be there as well. Before we let folks go, I want to remind them about Vaughn Lane. This fall, travel is picking up. Weekend getaways, business trips, and holiday visits are on everyone's schedule. But for Longhorn fans, there's one destination that stands out. That's Austin. So whether you're headed to town for the last big home game or to see family for the holidays, Vaughn Lane is the smartest way to get there. Step aboard and skip the stress of the airport and the grind of the highway with terminals just minutes from your final destination. Vaughn Lane redefines comfort and convenience. Each luxury coach offers only 22 first-class seats, the Wi-Fi, snacks, beverages, hot towel service, and on select routes, complimentary meal service, all delivered with unmatched attention to detail. You'll arrive refreshed, relaxed, and ready for kickoff or ready for family time. Book now, VaughnLane.com, and save $20 on your first trip with code OTF25. Vaughn Lane, elevated regional travel, serving Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Plano, the Woodlands, Nashville, Memphis, Atlanta, and Knoxville. Get your stuff ready for the holidays and get your trips booked.
2 games left to take a Vaughn Lane.
There you go.
Okay, well, we will be back same time, same place next week. Don't forget to head over to next week. Tomorrow. I'm thinking it's Friday already, Bobby. I got Friday on the brain, I guess. I was going to say, though, don't forget to head over to ontexasfootball.com. Use promo code OTFOG when you sign up. You'll get a full year for just $39.95. That is for new subscribers only. Again, OTFOG at ontexasfootball.com. And now then, we will be back same time, same place tomorrow. How's that? So for Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton, I'm Blake Monroe, and we'll see you then.
Hook 'em horns.